Hey guys, we're back again. We're going to set up to do the boring in line for our bushes for our actuating screw, which is going to actuate this plate up and down to allow us to get the centre height of the lathe and also to side cut to open up our keyways. Just having a look at the setup here. I've just got the slide plate here sitting on top of some step blocks at the moment, just to get it up nice and close to where that bridge piece sits. I've used my edge finder and I've picked up from edge to edge to get the exact centre, and I've picked up that edge there and come back 1.5 millimeters, so I know that I'm dead smack on where that threaded hole is in the nut. So the plan is that I'm going to remount up our bridge piece. I'll pull out the stepper blocks and drop that slide plate down. We'll center drill and we'll open that up and bore that to size, and then I've got a counter bore that I need to then do in the back end of this. So we can either do this on the mill, or I might even set it up in the lathe on the forge and clock it, and then we'll counter bore it back in. So what I will do before I take this off is I'm going to drill through and dowel so that this goes back in the exact same position every time if I do need to remove it. And I know that it's dead smack centre to the nut each time as well. And then what we'll move on to is we might make up the screw for this. And I've made a few design changes to this. I'm actually going to put some indication lines around a collar on this, and I'm going to look at making it a little bit differently. I wasn't happy with the way that I designed this setup, so we'll go through that before we start as well. Alright, so let's get this set up ready for drilling and boring. Right, just before we kick off, we'll just show you what we're looking at here. So this is the hole here that we need to drill through, and that's a tolerance hole, 16mm nominal, and then we've got to do a little counter bore in the back end there, and that's the one I said we might just set up on the lathe and do that in the forge jaw. So we'll get this underway. One of the things I love about having a riser, even though it's a 2-inch riser, it just gives you a little bit more capacity on that headroom. Right, we'll set up and we'll get the boring head in now, and we'll start boring that out to 16mm. Right, I've got the boring bar set up. I'm just going to take a lick on this. We'll do a size check on it and see what we've got to do with the boring head to bring that out to 16. Right, 15.2, so 0.8 of a mil to come off. Now, this hole isn't real critical. I've got a tolerance, but I can make the bush to suit. But I like to try and hit my tolerances. We'll see how we go. And that's the great thing about having a digi-read out. I can move this out of the way, do my measurement, and come back on. Come back exactly to 0. So I'll take 1/4 mil out. Check that again. Bit of a squeal there. I'll slow that down a tad. Yep, 0.3 to go. Showing me about 0.05 left to go. It's 0.02. Might just take a spring cut on that. And that will do us. Some mirror finish in there. And that's bang on the money. Oh no, before we take this off, I'm just going to set up and dowel a couple of 6mm holes so that we know that that goes back in the exact same location every time. So we'll get set up and do that next. So the drill I'm going in with here is about 0.2 of a mil undersized, about 1/8 thou. We're drilling these out and reaming for 6mm. With your pilot hole, you want to come as close to your normal size as you can. These don't like hogging out large amounts of material. I always tend to use a light cutting fluid. I use CRC for this sort of work. I find that if I use a thicker oil, it tends to drill or ream slightly oversized, and I have had in the past where I've had to send dowels out to have them chrome plated to have them built up, and that's particularly so on large fitments, large precision fit machine elements that you might be doing on site, and the old mag-based drills aren't exactly the greatest in the world for accuracy, particularly if they've been hired and they've been used a fair bit. The slides aren't real flash, and the bearings aren't too flash on the chuck, and they tend to definitely drill oversize and ream oversize. So if you're ever doing fitments in the field for gear, just be aware of that. As I said, I've had to send the stuff out in the past to have it the dowels chrome plated to build them up. Right, so we're into back gear, so we'll slow this right down. That looks pretty good. I think too, if you are reaming, the reamers tend to push the swarf forward, so you'll often end up with a bit of swarf in the bottom of the hole. So I always go a little bit deeper on the holes, bearing in mind that I will end up with some swarf down the bottom. So I'm going to 6mm dowels. That'll be that's a nice fit. Right. Now we've got those located to go back on assembly, we'll strip this down, we'll take this off, and we'll set it up in the forge jaw for doing that counterbore. Alright guys, so I've got this set up and clocked now. So we're going to take this out to a diameter 24 by 5mm deep. So I've just touched off on the inside, we know that's bang on 16. So need to come out 4mm on the radius and 5mm deep. So we'll get that on the go. Right, that should be finished size. Now this isn't a critical size, it's 4.02, so I've got a little bit of clearance so that the collar doesn't rub on the screw. And we'll just see where we're at with diameter. Alright, 24.0, sorry, 24.1. So that'll do us. Alright. We'll get that mounted back on the slaughter machine. Back on the little slides, and we'll make up our... Right, we might make up our dowel and bushes next for this, and then we can size everything to suit when we're doing the screw, so we've got a nice firm fit. Alright, I'll get this out and we'll get that on the go. Okay guys, I was going to make these thrust washers for this actuating screw out of some dowel rods, so unfortunately I haven't got any dowel in that size. I thought I did, but I haven't. I've just got an old riser off a casting job I did a while ago. This is LG2, so we'll cut it up out of that, and we'll get started on it. Alright, so that's our little bit of scrap we've cut off that we're going to use, a bit of stock. It's got a little bit of a shrinking troll in here, which is what you expect out of the risers. That's what they're there for. Just something I'll show you for those guys that are the casting buffs. You'll see inside here, almost like a fabric. Now, I always put filters in when I'm casting to take out any dross or any rubbish that I might have missed or that might end up going down the riser. So it's really good. I've never had any issues. Now, I'll make Lucky Gin 101. I won't mention his name. Would be saying, what do you need that crap for? You don't need that. You can do it this way and this way and this way. But yeah, I've been up to his foundry a number of times and done some work, and he's been down to my foundry. So, yeah, so it's always handy having those little bits of offcuts here. You can always use them for little bits of stock and bits and pieces. Alright, we'll get this set up in the lathe, and we'll make a start on it. Right guys, I've started just machining this out. I've got a nice little blowhole in here. As I said, these are just the runner risers of castings that I've done, and they're often full of rubbish. Sometimes they're good. At the start of the pour, they're not too bad. When you're getting down towards the end of the crucible, you'll often start getting a bit of rubbish coming through. That's why I use filters. But we'll see how we go anyway. But what we're going to be making up are the bush, thrust bush, which is this one here, and then we've also got the thrust washer that we're going to make up as well. So both diameter 24 max diameter, and a size fit diameter 12 to suit the shaft on the screw. Alright, I'll keep going. We'll get some holes put through this and just see how that's looking inside as well. I'm just going to swap this tool around for a 0.4mm radius on that tip. Alright, so we should only really have a spring pass to go now. Try and do this looking through the viewer. No. Right, that's it. We're bang smack on midway through our tolerance, so we're 12.01, which is bang on our mid tolerance range. Alright, finish out the OD and then we'll part that off. Spot on. Right, I'll leave it at there. Right, I'll just lightly deburr this and I'll part it off and we'll do the washer. Right, so we'll part this off with about 0.2 of a mil to clean up. Alright. I'll face this off and we'll part the next little washer off at 2 mil. Righto, all done. We'll clean those up and we'll get ready for the screw. Right, so I've parted this off and I've left it about 0.2 of a mil full. I've got it set up in the soft jaws at the moment. I haven't got a register behind it on the soft jaws. But what I've done is I've used my little face squaring device, if you like. This is the one I got off John Mills off Double Boost. And it works really well. So I'd only just lightly clamp it in the jaws. And I've just run it in that position there. I've just nipped the jaws up. So that's got that face running dead square now. Takes a little adjustment on our little tool here. This is why these are fantastic. Trying to work around the camera here. Right. Let's see how we go. I'll just put a little chamfer on that too. Done. Guess I should check it before we take it out. But Yeah, gosh. Yep, 2.02, we'll leave it at that. Righto, so that's our bushes and our washers complete. And it's done a really nice job. Alright, I'll tidy that up and I might get that bush pressed into place. One of my scrapers that I made up years ago when I was an apprentice. It's just a triangular file. You just grind it down, and it does a really good job at just taking that arris, putting that nice little arris around on thin objects. Righto, job's done.